Good afternoon, students. So, as we have started with chapter 7, that is concerns and needs in diverse contexts, and from that, part A and B are there. And from part A, nutrition, health, and hygiene, we have almost completed part A. A bit of it is left, and today I'm going to complete this part, and we'll be going to the second part, that is the resource availability and management. So, let's start with the rest part that is left. So as we have learnt about the different hygiene, that is the personal hygiene as well as the environmental hygienes, so now comes the the food hygiene. What is this food hygiene? Foodborne illnesses occurs when we consume food that contains disease causing like this pathogenic microorganisms. Several factors are needed for a foodborne illness to occur. So food hygiene depends upon the foodborne illnesses that occurs when we consume different kinds of food which contains these pathogenic microorganisms. Pathogenic means the disease causing microorganisms. So there are several factors which are needed for a foodborne illness to occur. So particular for this foodborne illness to occur, several factors are responsible. So let's see what are the different factors which are responsible for a foodborne disease to occur. So number one is either the organism or the toxin must be present in the food eaten. This is a very common factor. Number two is the number of the pathogenic microorganisms must be in sufficient numbers. So it is not like that in the food that you are consuming some amount of microorganisms can cause the food to be toxic. That is, the pathogenic microorganisms which are present in your food should be in sufficient amount to make that food toxic and to occur that foodborne illness. Okay. So number three is the contaminated food must have been consumed in sufficient quantity, and the food that is contaminated, you have to eat that food also sufficiently in order to consume lots of this pathogenic microorganisms so that they can cause the disease. A bit of that food will not occur. Now the illnesses that are caused includes diarrhea, dysentery, amoebiasis, infective hepatitis, typhoid, listeriosis, botulism, cholera, gastroenteritis. So these are the several diseases which occurs due to this. These are the different foodborne illness diseases. Now foodborne diseases you can also say. So most of these are traced back to poor personal and food handling practices as outlined below. So several of these diseases can occur because of the poor personal and food handling practice. So food handling practice and your proper sanitation practices are very important in order to get rid of these different foodborne illness diseases. So if you don't practice these kind of things properly, so these diseases can occur. So let's see what are the different food handling practices that we should follow. Number one, use of food items that are spoiled, infected, unsafe include water, spices, seasoning mixes. Now if you use the food items like which are spoiled, infected, unsafe, so these type of include, which also includes water, spices, seasoning mixes, so these can include in your this poor food handling practices. So number two is improper storage leading to multiplication of diseases causing microorganisms. So improper storage means, suppose if you don't store your food in proper place, so that means you have made that food unsafe to eat, because the microorganisms has already started growing in that food and they have started making the colony, and when the microorganisms are total in that food, so if you now consume that food excuse me, so that particular diseases will occur then. Now number three is not practicing insects and vermin control. So if you don't practice the insect control and the vermin control measures, So this kind of diseases can also occur. Use of contaminated equipment, utensils and plates, spoons, glasses, inadequate cooking, storage of foods at temperature favorable to growth and microorganisms, that is 4 to 600 degrees Celsius. So now if you use the contaminated spoons or any kind of equipments in your kitchen, so that can also lead to the food being contaminated. Now inadequate cooking, if you don't cook your food properly, so that can also be leading the microorganisms to be alive in your food, and now if you eat that food, disease may occur. So now the storage of also, so if you don't store the food in proper temperature, then also the disease may occur. Now improper cooling, improper inadequate health, reheating of the cooked foods, leftovers, cross contamination, leaving food uncovered, use of contaminated substances for garnishing. So now these are also the several small factors which are also in your list of poor practicing hygiene practicing. Okay, so this can also lead to the disease to occur. Now the use of this poor hygiene and sanitation practices, persons handling food such as unclean cloths, not washing of hands, dirt and grime under the nails. So if you don't do these things, so the food is not safety and it is not also consumable. So in your kitchen you have to maintain these proper hygiene practices in order to make your food safe and also your kitchen safe. So effective practices related to nutrition, health and hygiene are essential to be productive in the work that one does within home or outside the home. The next chapter discusses the relationship between worker, that is that chapter is not included in your syllabus. So we will now directly move to our next chapter, the next part of this chapter, that is the resources which are availability. So now let's move on to the next part. So this is the second part in your syllabus of this chapter number 7, that is resource availability and management. So from this name you can get that there are several kind of resources which are available in to us, and how to manage those resources are what we want to learn in this chapter. So now what are the resources that we get? So timely and efficient management of resources enhances their optimum utilization. In this chapter you will learn that about time and space management, money as a resource, its management will be dealt with in another unit, this unit 4. So now time management. What is time management? Time, you know, time is a resource, valuable resource. So how you can manage this time? So time is limited and irreversible. Time is measured in years, months, days, hours, minutes and seconds. So we are provided with 24 hours of time each day to use it as we like. The key is how we use that time. If not managed properly, time keeps slipping away in spite of our effort to control it. So time is a valuable resource. If we can't manage the time, then time will slip away and our work will also be slipping away from us. So time is a valuable resource. You have to fulfill or you have to utilize your time properly in order to manage your time. Now, what matters how important and valuable an individual may be, one cannot stop time nor slow it down or speed it up. Once passed, time can never be regained. In today's fast changing lifestyle, our demands and responsibilities at home, school, at work have increased. This has made the time for managing time very important. To be successful, it is essential to develop the time management skills. People who use these techniques become high achievers in all walks of life, from agriculture to business to sports to public services in all other professions and personal life. Time management allows one to have adequate rest and recreation along with work. So time is basically what have been said is, so you have to maintain your time properly. Not only that you are involved in your work or in your school or studies or every time. So you have to make your time for your recreational activities also, which will make your stress to go away. So now the principle of time management is to concentrate on results, not on being busy. Being busy is not that you are fulfilling your time. So you have to concentrate on your results also, that whatever work you are doing, are you getting the feedback from that work? Okay, so the people often spend their days getting anxious about the unfinished task but achieve very little, as they do not concentrate on what matters the most time. For example, some students may spend their time worrying about examinations rather than actually studying for them. So this is a very practical example for you all, and I have also experienced that this example. So when we study, we sometime, because of our examinations or any kind of study pressure, so the pressure or the stress falls on us. So what we do, we become anxious, we become scared that what will happen, what I am going to do, am I going to get good result, am I going to be achieving good marks from this subject, oh my god, my overall result will hamper because of this one, this that, all the things we think of these things rather than studying. So actually what we do is that we don't utilize that time. Rather than being scared, it would be good that if we can use that time on studying, so that I can cope away with that thing. So this is a very good example that has been given here. So you should also be utilizing your time properly, and also for your examination, don't think that what the results are going to be. Give your full effort and results will definitely show. Now all time management begins with planning. A time plan is necessary. A time plan can be defined as an advanced schedule of activities to be performed in a given period time. So what is that? That without this proper planning, you cannot use that time properly. Okay, so what that need is a proper planning. So suppose and this is also not right, that if you are planning for a whole day and no work has been done, so this is also not worthy. So you have to plan for a little time, that what you are going to do your next day. So you start with that plan from the very first hour of that morning. Okay, so this is how you should be starting your work or whatever you are doing, by planning a thing, so that you can use or utilize your time properly. So how good is your time management? Before understanding the steps in time and activity planning, it is essential to determine how effective your own time management is. How often are you able to complete the tasks plan? Are you able to efficiently complete your weekly, daily, hourly, whatever work? So this is whatever I have told you has been said here. So how good is your time management? So how good you can utilize your time, or how good is your time management, can be shown by how you are planning about your time management. So now you can see here there are several steps given in time and activity plan. So number one is start your work as quickly as possible. Do not waste time in avoiding or delaying the task. When a student reaches home, she or he should relax for a while, have a meal, and then start with the school work without postponing it for the end of the day. So this is a basic suggestion given to you, but I don't know how many of you follow this. So those who are reading this chapter, you better start following this schedule, that whatever task has been given from your school, you better be doing, since now because of the lockdown period it is not impossible of doing like this. So when the lockdown is over, when you'll be going in your school normally, then you start with this schedule. So now get into a routine every day. Choose a time to accomplish certain tasks, such as completing home task, doing household chores, and then stick to routine activities. So it is not like that you are only involved in your school activities, homework and all. So you have to manage your home also. There are certain works in your house which you should also be doing. Now The next is the prioritize your tasks before picking up any new tasks. Make sure that it does not impact the already existing activities. That is, whatever work you have started, don't leave that and start doing another one. Always keep that in your mind that whatever you have started, complete that. With, if it is a small task, complete that task and then do the next task, go for the next one. So now, do not undertake too many activities at a particular time. So don't take too much of activities or too many tasks at a time. Okay, start the work, whatever you are doing, complete it, or while it is almost completed, then you can start with your next activity. So do not undertake too many activities at a particular time. Next is, if the time available is less and work is more, then keep the optional tasks for a later time and complete compulsory activities first. So this is a very good example that has been given. You should also follow this thing. Do not commit yourself to unimportant and low priority tasks. So don't engage yourself in the several unimportant tasks which are not worthy of your activity. So now learn to say no. Suppose your peer groups, they have come to your home and they are asking, come on, let's go outside, we'll have a this adda and all. So don't say, you can say sometimes, suppose if you want to go to play in the evening time, you can go, but don't leave your tasks which are important for you. Don't leave those tasks. Complete that and then you can go to your refreshmental activities. Now divide the big tasks into a series of small manageable activities. So this is a very important point, that what if a task that you are following is quite a long, then you can break that thing in manageable activities. Okay, the day school's work, that is a big task, can be divided into smaller tasks by dividing the work as per different subjects. Suppose you have given someday there's a lot of homework given from the school. So by not doing the whole homework a single day, you can or a single particular few hours, you can divide it. Suppose some part I'll do in the morning, some part I'll be doing in the evening, some part I'll be doing in the night before going to bed. So this is how you can divide your schedule. Do not waste energy and time on tasks which do not need much attention. This is a very important one. Deal with the task one at a time till it is completed, or decide when to deal with it. Do not put it aside before completion. Arrange start and stop times to schedule activities. Appropriate time should be allotted to each subject without spending too much time on each subject. Suppose you are reading, you have to read 3 subjects a day. So make the time management for that particular 3 subjects. So suppose if you are reading the first subject, make a time that I'll not read this subject more than 1.5 hour or 2 hours. Okay, then you go to your next subject and follow this routine only. So these are the different steps in time and activity plan. So next we are going to follow what are the different types of activities: compulsory activities, optimal activities, optional activities. Next year will be reading about the type of the activities. So till then, go through this chapter, and if you find any kind of problem, I have always told you this, that